Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tulum Real Estate Guide, where we dive into the very vibrant and exciting world of property investment in this beautiful paradise of Tulum, Mexico. I am your guide, Tony Martinez, and this is part 2 of exploring Tulum's development potential. In this second part, we're now going to discuss the different regions and areas of Tulum, the density allowed, what you're allowed to do in each one, and what you're definitely going to want to know if you're thinking of investing in this beautiful place. Okay, so to understand Tulum's different regions, we first want to look at where the Tulum began. And as you can see in this map, right here, you see the biggest footprint of Tulum. We call it El Centro, aka downtown. And what you're gonna find in this area is gonna be a lot of shops and restaurants and bars and so forth. So this is a mixed commercial use, all right? And this is where Tulum essentially began, right? Then they, of course, opened up the street that takes you to the beach called Coba, all right? So this street here is called Coba, and it's called Coba because it takes you, if you go this way, inland, all the way to the actual Mayan ruins of Tulum, otherwise known as Coba. There's different, there's Chichen Itza, and there's the local ones we have near town. These are only about 45 minutes from downtown, all right, so very close. All right, so that's where it began. Now, over time, it began to extend to what we called Veleta, with a V, all right? This would be the second region of Tulum that was a natural progression of the first. But here you began to see a little bit more of residential. And if you go there now, you'll see that it is a little bit older. When I say older, I'm talking about 20 years, right? So that's not that old. But you'll also start to see very brand new construction sites. So it's a mix of the older Tulum with the newer Tulum. And you have here a bunch of shops as well and restaurants. There's a beautiful street called 7th Avenue. Highly recommended. I love Veleta because there's a lot of things going on now. There's a lot of Europeans that love that area there, as well with people from all over the world, because you still get that old Mexican feel versus, for example, the beachfront entertainment, you know, the more popular restaurants and bars and hotels. So if you want to do something a little bit more traditional Mexican, I would say you're gonna like Veleta. Now, that being said, after Veleta, then Aldea Zama began to open up, and we're talking about 14 years ago. And if you know Aldea Zama has a beautiful infrastructure, right? So here you're gonna have a mix of restaurants as well as a commercial area and residential area. You're gonna have natural buffers of green. You're gonna have paved streets, underground water services like electricity, water. And so the best infrastructure has always been known to be Aldea Zama, right? Now, Aldea Zama today has grown. There's an extension to Aldea Zama, which is this that you see right here. The first phase of Aldea Zama is roughly 80 hectares. And then you have the second one, another roughly 200 hectares. So as you guys can see, Aldea Zama 1 and 2, FYI, this area here is called Selva Zama, right? No longer Aldea Zama, but Selva Zama. Same developers, right? They're doing their own master plan. They're including beautiful, beautiful parks inside and schools and more commercial area. So this is gonna be a very, really, really good place to live, place to vacation. If you guys have not been to Aldea Zama, I highly recommend you check it out because there's already an infrastructure, and it also gives you a good idea of what the rest of Tulum can potentially look like over the next few years. Now, that being said, let's go to Region 15. And Region 15 is more or less right here where I'm putting this square. As a matter of fact, let me get my little drawing board and show you guys something really cool. So Region 15 starts right around here, and it basically goes down, right? It goes down right around here, and it comes right back up, right? This is Region 15, all right? That's Region 15 there. Then you get over here and you have Region 8. This would be more or less Region 8. Now, Region 8 is fairly new. Region 8 still is furthest from being urbanized, right? Because urbanization, that's another thing you're gonna wanna know, starts from this midpoint, right? Which is the downtown area, and will begin to go down. So streets are being paved as we speak from this area down towards the beach. How long will it be before the rest of Tulum has streets? A lot of people ask that. We don't know exactly. What we do know is that there's a lot of pressure that the government is getting by the locals, by the tourists, because now that we have an actual airport, now that we're gonna get over 5 million visitors, right? Tulum's gonna have to go faster as far as the services and urbanization. And I believe that the local municipality knows that they're under this pressure because they've spoken about it. And as a matter of fact, just over the last month, there's been over 3 new streets that have been paved. So slowly this will become, right, urbanized, no different than the rest of the cities, and it's going to look beautiful. And your proximity to the ocean, which is amazing, because if you did buy in region 15, well, you're probably only about 8-12 minutes, right? And when those streets are paved, even faster. So I personally like region 15 because it's new. It's all brand new. You're not, you don't have the old Tulum and the new Tulum. So everything being developed here are beautiful properties, all brand new properties. And then region 8, as I mentioned, is the furthest because urbanization is going this way, right, down. So that's going to be a few more years. Then you have region 12, which region 12 is, and this might not be perfect, most likely is not, but region 12 will be this part over here, also a little bit more further down the road. As far as the urbanization, that's going to take a little bit longer. Now let's go to the other side of the highway, right? The other side of the highway where you have other popular areas such as region 11. Region 11 is over here. These are streets that are now going all the way down to the main highway that will connect you with the downtown area. So these areas also I like. You're starting to see growth now in these areas here, and you're getting a lot of beautiful developments, by the way. The developments are not going to be maybe necessarily as super high end as, say, what's going to be done over here in region 8, right? But this is going to be another good area. So if I was to classify, and let's just say Beachfront would be A+, right? Anything here would be considered A, everything here would be considered A. Obviously, Aldea Zama A. Some of this will probably be A+. Right? And then as we start to get on the other side of the highway, we're looking into our B-class investments, which are still considered very good. They also have a high rate of return in the long run because people are gonna need to live, right? A lot of what you're seeing right now is aimed for tourists. And you're just starting to see now more developers saying, hey, people are moving here, right? Tulum's population, by the way, went from 40,000 to nearly 100,000, which is where we are now, in only 4 years, right? So the last census that was done was back in 2020, and it was about 40,000 in population. Now they're saying that we're well over 100,000 just in 4 years. So people are gonna need a place to live. And I think this area here is gonna be great for that, for people who actually want to live. And of course, you're gonna get more of your tourism, heavy tourism over here. You are still gonna see tourism over here, probably a lot of Europeans, Latin America, people who still want to be, not in the hustle and bustle of Tulum, which would be obviously all this area. All right. And now, very lastly, guys, a lot of people are asking, well, Tony, what about beachfront, right? What about the beachfront areas? And, if I wanted to invest there, obviously this is A+, what are we looking at? All right. This is tricky, guys, because a lot of people think they can come in Tulum and buy beachfront property. But the thing is this, right? Number one, this does not have the residential density needed to build residential. So here is only commercial, restaurants and bars and hotels and so forth. Now in this little, you can see this little small tiny plot of land in Shankan, right? This is the natural reserve of Shankan. If you guys missed my video, by the way, where I talk about how you cannot build over here, how you cannot build so much over here because subterranean rivers, and how you cannot build over here because this is protected area, you're gonna wanna go to the second video of this channel so you guys can look at the progression, and that's gonna lead you back to this one. So anyways, going back to this little strip of land, guys, known as Shankan. Can you buy land? Can you buy houses here? Yes. Condos? No, right? Because the density is that it only allows you to build 2 stories, number one, and you're only allowed to build on 15% of your lot. So you're gonna need to buy a massive plot of land, right? And spend at least a couple $1 million, and then build another, another house that's gonna be at least 2-3 million. So you're gonna end up with a $5 million house. And that's what you're seeing right now in this area, right? Now it's very rough to get into, right? From this point here, let's just say you're gonna go visit any of these or stay at an Airbnb over here. Well, you're not gonna find them on Airbnb, by the way, because these are multi-million dollar homes. Most of these are being rented separately. But anyways, if you land the house over here for rent, From this point, just to get here, okay, it's gonna be nearly an hour, and it can be even up to an hour and a half to 2 to go all the way, because the roads are really, really bad, and there is no sign of any infrastructure going in there because it is a natural reservation. So anyone who bought a piece of land there, who owns a home, is luxury. It's very hard to get to. It's not the most efficient investment, some would say. Why? Because you're gonna spend a lot of money and it's gonna be very hard to get to. Now, are we seeing right now these houses have success, or anyone who bought land? Well, we are, right? But it's a very big operation and it's a lot of investment. I'm not saying that, you know, it's not the great place to invest. I just think you need to do your research and make sure you know what you're getting into if you're gonna buy beachfront here. Now, if we go over to this side, this is also, guys, well, first of all, I went too far, right? From here, let's let this pass. So from basically all this is the hotel zone. The hotel zone continue, it ends right here, because then this is the natural park, right? So the natural park starts here, and now you have the very famous Jaguar Park, which is an extension of nearly 2,300 hectares, right? Which is completely protected. You cannot build there at all. So that's out of the picture, right? So as you guys can see, guys, the beachfront plots of Tulum, or beachfront residential investments, houses, condos, is out of the picture, okay? So that being said, and in my opinion, I think that's a good thing. Why? Because the reason why they did that, some of you are asking, well, why wouldn't they do, you know, these beautiful residential beachfront condos or houses? Well, again, Tulum is being protected as much as it possibly can. They've learned from Cancun, they've learned from Playa del Carmen, and as you continue to get south, they're doing things better. Therefore, the density is much smaller, right? We discussed that in the other video. The density of Tulum is only allowed to build 4 stories plus a roof, making it a total of 5, right, as of now. And so, you know, you're not seeing these skyscraper units, and therefore all this beachfront property here has the lowest density in all of Tulum. And you want to hear something really funny? Okay, there is no electricity here. You can't tap into electricity. Everything here is being ran with their own generators. Crazy, right? So you have these beautiful properties, these beautiful hotels, right? You would think that they're being run with the city's electricity or tapped into the grid, but they're not, because there is no infrastructure, guys. And again, that's what makes Tulum unique. So I believe that if people continue to do things the way that they're meant to be for Tulum, Tulum in the long run is gonna be this beautiful place where you're gonna have a mix of nature, right? Natural cenotes, underground water rivers, beautiful jungle, and continuous interaction with the natural beauty of Tulum is what's gonna make this place successful. And so if you're thinking of investing, if you're thinking of building, you're gonna definitely wanna know the codes, and you're gonna wanna hire the right people to do it that understand the vision of Tulum. Because as a local, as a Mexican national, right, we do not want anyone coming in, anybody who doesn't know Tulum good enough to be doing developments here, right? So we wouldn't want anyone who doesn't understand Tulum and the vision of Tulum to come in and just build anything, right? And I think that's what can continue to make Tulum a very successful destination. And I personally love the fact that there are some areas where you simply cannot build that are being protected. I absolutely think that's amazing, and that's what's gonna continue to keep Tulum thriving. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, make sure you hit the notification button. That way, on my very next video, you continue to be updated with the latest information. And remember that throughout this series, my goal is to make you an expert when it comes to investing in Tulum, and making sure your money's safe and has a long-term investment potential. And if you want to hear about a different topic, make sure you ask me on the comments any questions that you guys want, because this whole series is about providing value and giving you guys an insight of Tulum from A through Z. This is Tony Martinez, and this is the Tulum Real Estate Guide. God bless and much success.